Welcome back to Spring into Math 7. I'm Mrs. Campbell, and today we're going to be doing the first part of our lesson on the surface area of a prism. Let's get started. All right, let's do a quick review. So a prism, remember, is a three-dimensional object with two congruent parallel bases. The shape of the base names the prism, and there are rectangles, four sides of the prism. And remember the term area. Area is the space that's contained within a two-dimensional figure. So now we're going to look at the area of three-dimensional figures. Now, this is not called simply area anymore. Now we're going to be using the term surface area. Surface area. Again, you might want to pause your video and write this definition down. Surface area is the covering of a three-dimensional figure. So imagine you could wrap a three-dimensional figure in wrapping paper like a present. And the amount of wrapping paper you need to cover the figure represents the surface area. So to find the surface area, we must be able to calculate the area of each figure and then add them all together. Now, one way to do this is to use a net. We talked about nets in our last lesson. And remember, a net is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional solid, sort of an unfolded version of a solid. So first thing we're going to do is find the area of each section, like I mentioned, and then we're going to add up those measurements. Then we know the measurement of the cover of the figure. All right, let's start by looking at a rectangular prism. So we need to find the area of each part. Remember, to find the area of a rectangle is simply area equals length times width. Okay, so now I know when you see this slide, you're going to feel intimidated, but don't. It's actually really easy when you break it down by pieces, and you'll see in a second how simple this will be. So what we need to do is find the area of each part of the prism. Now remember, there's 6 faces that we need to measure. We're talking about the bottom face, the top face, both long sides, and both short sides, okay? Notice that because surface area involves area, that we use square units to label each measurement, so you might want to be thinking about that as we go through this. So let's look at the measurements for the bottom face in the first column there. So bottom face, area equals length times width, and if you look at the figure, you'll see that those measure the length is 12, and the width is 7, and 12 times 7 is 84. And we just simply do that twice because we do the bottom and the top. And then so at the bottom we have 84 plus 84. And then we have the long side, area times length times height, which is going to be 12 times 3, and we're going to do that twice. So we're going to add 2 36s. And then we're going to do both short sides, which is going to be area equals width times height, which is going to be 7 times 3, 2 times. And so we've got 21. Then we're going to add up 84 plus 84 plus 36 plus 36 plus 21 plus 21, and we get 282 square inches, or inches squared. All right, this one's a little bit trickier. Again, don't feel intimidated once you break it into pieces. That's actually pretty simple. So what's the surface area of this figure below? The first thing we're going to need to do is draw a net. So imagine that you could unfold that figure. Let's look at the little note there in blue. It says it may help to color the top and the bottom faces to do this. Start with the bottom face. The bottom face in this figure is a triangle, and each side of the face is connected to a side face. Each side face is a rectangle. And then lastly, we drop the top face, which can be connected to any of the side faces. Okay, next we're going to fill in the measurements for the sides of each face so that we can calculate their area. Now, you have to be careful because this time, 2 of the faces are triangles. And we calculate the area of triangles differently. We use the formula area equals 1/2 base times height. So we need to know the height of the triangles. So look at the diagram to find it. That's one of the first steps. And then what we're going to do after that is find the areas of the 2 triangles. We'll do that first. And then we're going to look for the area of the 3 rectangles and then add them all together. So now that we have the measurements of all the faces, let's calculate the area of each. All right, so let's do the bottom face and the top face first. Again, we said our formula for that is 1/2 base times height. And so it's 1/2 times 8 times 6. We're going to do that twice, once for the bottom and once for the top, and we get 24 each time. And then we're going to do the sides. Area equals length times width, or 17 times 10, which gives us 172 times. And then we're going to do the sides, the last side, which is area times, 3 sides, So we would do that again for the third time. Area equals length times width. Again, and then that time we would do 17 times 8. And 17 times 8 is 136. So now we're going to add them all up. We have 24 plus 24 plus 170 plus 170, and then that other side, which is 136. Then we add them all together and we get 524 centimeters squared. We use the formula area equals 1/2 base times height to find the area of the top and bottom faces. And we use the formula area equals length times width to find the area of the 3 side faces. All right, so join us next time for the second part of this lesson when we dig in a little bit deeper. We'll see you next time.